Joining us from Berlin, Arseniy Yatsenyuk, Ukraine's former Prime Minister and the former Foreign Minister. Welcome back to the program. It's good to see you. Thank you for being with us.
Good to see you.
Does this look like the beginning of a peace deal to you, the basis for a negotiation, or does it look like capitulation?
Look, it has nothing to do with a peace plan. It's a ploy plan. And you're absolutely right saying that there is nothing new in this peace plan. This is a crawling capitulation of Ukraine. It's completely a no-starter for Ukraine. And designated war criminal knows this. And Americans have to realize that Putin wants once again to play them as he did it in Anchorage. So there is just no way to accept any kind of this type of plan, neither for Ukrainians nor for Europeans. And I hope for Americans too, because this would be a humiliating defeat for Americans.
There must be immense frustration in Ukraine, though, because they invested a lot of time since the summer in trying to bring President Trump around to their position. And now we appear to have gone back to pretty much where he was at the start of the year.
Absolutely. We are back to square one. So the best solution would be to provide long-range distance capabilities for Ukraine, to impose an additional secondary sanctions on Russia, and to present a united front between the European Union and the United States. How on earth could we have a peace plan, how to bring peace to Ukraine without Ukrainians and Europeans? Give me a break. So it seems that the U.S. administration may be sniff testing this kind of plan, and Secretary Rubio said that everyone is to make concessions. Well, I am just wondering what kind of concessions Russians are making, except land grab and imposing and completely unacceptable terms and conditions of so-called ceasefire, which resembles a Vietnam peace deal. It's a copycat scenario.
Let's suppose, hypothetically, that for some reason President Zelensky accepted this plan. What would happen when it was presented to the Ukrainian parliament?
Christian, I strongly believe that President Zelensky would never accept this plan. And I will tell you the reason why. Because Ukrainian people would never accept capitulation. Men and women in uniform are fighting for our independence and sovereignty for 12 years. So we paid the highest price. This is the price of the lives of the human being, and we will never surrender.
What do you make of the timing? Because obviously Pokrovsky is under immense pressure at the moment. That there is a corruption investigation ongoing which involves senior figures in the government. Is it a coincidence that Trump is returning to this plan now?
Well, here is the thing. I believe that some actors want to use this corruption scandal in order to exert an additional pressure on Ukraine. But I want to be very clear. This is unprecedented. That Ukrainian anti-corruption bodies started a large-scale investigation against large, high-profile Ukrainian officials. This is an advantage. You know, it never happened before in Ukrainian history before 2014. And I was the prime minister who actually established a huge network of all these anti-corruption agencies and anti-corruption bodies and tools. So yes, bad actors are trying to exploit this. But the thing is that my government has to do its best, first, to eradicate corruption, and second, to do everything to protect and defend the sovereign soil of Ukraine. That's the reason why we will never accept this ploy that has been crafted by the Russian asset, which is Kirill Dmitriev and somebody in D.C.
The foreign ministers are meeting in Brussels this afternoon, and of course this has implications for them. In fact, the last time this plan was presented, I remember the British Prime Minister and the French President went to Washington to try and turn Donald Trump around. The trouble is, Arseniy, there doesn't appear to be the bravery to stand up to President Trump for understandable reasons, because the threat of tariffs, I should say, at a time when European economies are weak, is a serious threat.
But the threat of the Russian invasion and the threat that Russia posed to the European Union and the United States is much higher. Look what Russians are doing on your sovereign soil. Acts of sabotage, terrorism, and Russia waged the biggest war after the Second World War. So there is no way to reward an invasion with so-called ploy peace plan. There is only one way to bring them to negotiating table, I mean Russians, and to deliver durable and fair peace. And that's in the interest of the United States, because otherwise Americans will face a domino effect and they will be deposed from their position as the leader of the free world. It's so obvious.
And Donald Trump's not without leverage, is he? Because when he threatened sanctions on the oil that India was buying from Russia, or when he threatened the Tomahawks, President Putin did come to the table. There would be a feeling, would there, that maybe the sanctions are starting to have an effect. I mean, even in the Russian press today, they're saying that recession is inevitable. So Donald Trump could apply the pressure if he wanted to.
I fully share your take. Americans have a lot of tools on the table, and they have leverage. First, secondary sanctions. Second, to press on China. And third, to deliver an additional ammo, financial and military support, and to provide Ukraine with the long-distance capabilities. That's what's on the table. The only thing that is missing is a political will to make it.
Arseniy Yatsenyuk, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you, Christian.